Okay, let's talk the Batman. This film has been critically acclaimed. I think most people loved, I'll say liked. Most people at the very least liked this film. There are a few contrarians that say they hated it. I'm in the middle. I thought this film was just all right. I gave it a half a head nod on the Rollo Reviews Richter scale, which is all right. Half a head nod. And here's why. Most people that liked it or loved it, I typically hear them say that this is the most accurate depiction of Batman. And while I'm not a heavy into the Batman comic books, I'll give you that. Yes, let's say this film is the most accurate depiction of Batman. However, that does not make it a great film. Those are two very different things. You know, I'm hearing some of these people say that this was better than The Dark Knight, and that's just not true. That's just not true. Before we get into the specifics, let's get in, to my reason for thinking this was just an okay film. One, this is a 3-hour film with, I would argue, not a lot of high spots. Honestly, most of what was happening in this film felt low stakes to me. They felt low stakes. When I mentioned that, someone would say, okay, what about the scene with the vans? Without giving the film away, what about the scene with the vans? And I say, that felt low stakes as well, only because they didn't really build up to that. It's just like, bam, they're in the interrogation room, and the Riddler's like, I got these vans. And it's like, it comes out of nowhere, so there was no room. They didn't build any tension. It kind of just happened. You juxtapose that to the scene in The Dark Knight with the two luxury boats, yachts, or whatever you want to call them. And it's like, oh, this boat can blow this boat up. That boat could blow that boat up. They built it. And it was this whole scene and tension due to, conscience and things of that nature. So that's where I juxtapose these films. You add the fight scenes to this film because this film is listed as an action adventure. So I'm going to rate your action and I'm going to rate the adventure. Man, Robert Pattinson beating people up. I mean, come on. Robert Pattinson got to be maybe $170. I'll square up with Robert Pattinson. And I know there are those who will say, Christian Bale was even smaller than that, but Christian Bale's Batman was just more physically imposing. Like, he was just more scary looking. Robert Pattinson got to use tasers to take down villains. I mean, I get it. This is the year 2 Batman, but he just wasn't physically opposing to me. And he got his ass. All right, I won't give the film up. I don't want to give away too much about this film, but the action just left a little bit to be desired. I will say Zoe Kravitz'S fight scenes as Catwoman, they were pretty solid. She had the choreography down pat, but all in all, like as an action, it wasn't. It didn't do it for me. As an adventure, I hear a lot of people also mention, aside from this being the most accurate Batman film, they say, man, he was really a detective in this film. And I'm watching this film, I'm like, man, he's really not detecting shit. Besides guessing some riddles correctly, like what was Robert Pattinson's Batman really detecting? Most of the major plot points were actually revealed by characters. Like, these aren't things he figured out. Like Alfred, revealed information about Bruce's family. Dano as the Riddler revealed like his plan. Like, these aren't things Batman detected. So in terms of, this guy being a detective, I'm just not buying that. He did have the scene with the Penguin, with Colin Farrell's Penguin, when, he got additional information. But aside from that, man, I think that aspect of the film is overstated. Now, all in all, I thought it was an okay film. Like, I'm not saying this is a bad film at all. Is it better than The Dark Knight? For the people who said that, shame on you. Shame on you. Let's go acting, right? This film did have some stellar acting. I won't say stellar is strong. It has solid acting. I think Robert Pattinson's Batman was probably one of the most unique Batmans. Definitely not my favorite, but his depiction of Batman was indeed unique. I never seen Batman depicted like that before. This was a younger Batman, real brooding, but the brooding felt, organic in his year 2 as Batman. Like, his Bruce Wayne was very much gothic, hair disheveled. So I would say that, like, Pattinson's depiction of Bruce Wayne and Batman were unique. His Bruce Wayne, I guess, left a bit to be desired, but again, this is year 2. Um, Dano as the Riddler did a solid job, but I mean, if you just on sheer acting performances, he didn't touch Heath Ledger's Joker. Come on, what doesn't kill you makes you stranger. He didn't touch Heath, man. He didn't touch Heath just in terms of acting, man. You know, they're playing different characters, yes, but where we are now, you're just going to compare, you know, in a Batman film, you're going to compare the villains to what he did with Joker, because that's the standard at this point. It just is what it is. We did the same thing with the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, which I freaking loved. Love the Joker. Love what Joaquin did with that, and that's coming off the heels of Heath. You know what I'm saying? So you're not going to get past that. Dano did a good job. I mean, I thought this was an interesting Riddler. At the very least, this was an interesting Riddler. A solid performance. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman was solid. Is it memorable? I'm like, man, was I like, man, Zoe killed that? No, but shit, it was good. It was good enough. Like, she was a believable Catwoman. Jeffrey Wright as Jim Gordon. All solid performances, but I mean, you're gonna compare that to The Dark Knight and what, I forget the actor's name, but his Two-Face was my, I don't remember the lines, but when he got fucked up, man, I was like, man, he's crazy. He had the pistol. Let's flip for it. He flipped out. Pow! Shot Batman in the solar plexus. I said, damn, that's good. You can't, come on, man. You can't say this film was better than The Dark Knight, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. I get, it was all right. It was an all right film, but it's not better than The Dark Knight. If we're getting to the specifics, man, why this film was not trash. So I'm not, you know, I don't agree with those people at all. Like, the cinematography was on point. You know, Gotham very much looked like Gotham. The fight scenes, you know, left a bit to be imagined, but they looked okay. Like, they looked like fight scenes. Yeah, man, it was a beautifully shot film, even right down to the musical score. Like, they did something different with it. Very much gothic, a younger, you know, Batman. I think that was very much, you know, depicted through the music as well. The characters were solid. Like I said, Colin, I didn't even know that was Colin Farrell as the Penguin. You know, the guy who played Falcon, I forget his name. All solid jobs. But if you get down to the nitty gritty, as an action adventure, I feel as though it left a bit to be desired. In a 3-hour film, I felt as though there weren't that many high spots in this film. You just oppose that to The Dark Knight. You have the scene where there's the explosion. I forget the woman's name. I don't even know what character that's supposed to be. So she dies in the explosion. They save Harvey Dent. You have that scene. You have the scene with the yachts. You have the big fight scene at the end when Batman is closing in on the Joker. You have the scene in the jail where Batman captures the Joker. You have all these, the film is just bam, bam, like a lot of high spots in that film, and you juxtapose it to the Batman in 3 hours, and there weren't a lot of high spots, man. You know, they have the, you know, the explosion. I didn't know the suit was bomb-proof in this one, but whatever. You have the Alfred scene. Like, you have some scenes, but they just felt low stakes to me. That may be because I feel as though they really didn't, you know, build on the relationship between the characters, even down to the, you know, chemistry of Bruce Wayne and Zoe Kravitz. Like, everything just felt very routine. I don't know if routine is the right word, but, you know, their romance just didn't seem authentic or whatever, you know. But people loved it. You know, I'll let you guys be the judge. Let me know how you feel about it. Please explain to me why this film was so good without mentioning its accuracy to the comics, because accuracy does not make a film good or great. Once again, this is Rollo Reviews. I give Batman a half a head nod, and that's out of a rating scale from 3 mean mugs, which is a terrible film, worst film ever, to 3 head nods, which means this is one of the greatest films ever. I give the Batman a half a head nod, which means it's all right. So if you disagree, if you have some insight, let me know. Explain to me why this film was so great in your opinion.